morning, enlightened ones, and happy Sunday. In today's video, we're going to be going over another NECA unboxing. So, these Universal Monster movies, I've never even really watched them. I picked this guy up last week as well, alongside with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre figure. And, you know, I wanted to wait until I got to the weekend again, so that way I can open this guy up for everybody and just kind of showcase him. But what I find with these NECA figures is just how extremely detailed they are. That's kind of why I picked this guy up. You know, I may have not have seen the original Mummy movie. I'm more familiar with Brendan Fraser's The Mummy. However, just picking up this figure alone and owning the other set as well as the other figure, because this is now, what, the third set or figure release that is the Mummy inspired from the Universal Monsters. You had the accessory set that came out, and then you had the other Mummy version of Karloff here where he's actually all bandaged up, which I do have that one. But this one is just, I guess, you know, I'm thinking he's like an Emotep sort of character, you know, because he does come with alternate heads that we'll get, you know, we'll go more into detail with that. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know much about this 1932 movie. I'm more inspired to actually watch it now, since I do own, like, the accessory set, the other figure, and now this version. So, I'm more interested in watching it colorized, though, just because I feel like the colorized versions of these older movies, you know, they get more clarity, they have more detail in them, whereas you didn't really get to see any of those details in the black and white version. So I know that's going to be opinion-based, you know, and some people may not like that about, you know, my opinion on that, just because, you know, well, you're not watching the original format of how the movie actually first released. But, you know, in my opinion, I think you get more detail with a colorized version of these movies, which I'm all for. But I digress. So we're about the figure here, right? So at any rate, this is Karloff, Boris Karloff's The Mummy. This is now the second, well, yeah, I guess the second version of him in any way. And, of course, you do get alternate heads, too. This is a pretty just badass, well-detailed head that we're going to be going over. And I'm debating whether or not I want to keep him with this one or keep him with his just default menacing kind of look here. But if we look on the inside of the packaging, too, you get a full look at what the figure looks like. If my glare wouldn't be so bad. There you can see me in the background. What's up? But you do get your typical diorama of him as well. And then the figure. Of course, I'm going to be taking him out of the package, so that glare is not so bad. But you do get about 2 alternating heads, quite a few accessories, quite a few hands. So let's go ahead and open this guy up and showcase him in his full glory. All right, we put Mr. Old Mummy Man in the classic gaming T-pose here. Got his accessories lined up and his hands off to the side here. So here's what the figure looks like. And what's kind of interesting is NECA does this thing where, like, they kind of get a little lazy, I guess, with how they develop these figures. I noticed this with the first Ghostface release, where, like, the whole underbody was like an unsculpted, there was no real body under it, which is fine because the cloak covers it for the most part. But with this figure, you know, and I talked about it in my Leatherface video, how most figures don't look good with cloth goods, like at least figures versus like dolled figures, like, you know, your, what do you want to call it, Hot Toys, you know. But this particular figure, he is very stiff. He's very giggity erect. He can't really do a whole lot. You can't really articulate him a whole lot, which, again, we're going to go into articulation, but this is just what he looks like off the bat here. And if you look, he's just a solid piece of plastic. If you wanted to articulate the legs, if you wanted to move the legs, yeah, you're not going to be able to do that. He's just pretty much like the Silence of the Lambs statue, which I refuse to buy, because NECA should have redesigned that figure as an actual Hannibal Lecter figure, but they just re-released it and it's just a statue trying to call it an Ultimate figure, which is just bullshit. And I'm glad they're rotting on the shelves, because I'm seeing a lot of them just sitting there on shelves. But this guy is more of a statue than I would say a figure. He's more of just a piece that sits there. I mean, you know, you got your typical articulation up in the upper torso here, you know, and you can just pretty much just do straight arms. You can't really go way up at all, about maybe that much, and it's just the arm just wants to fall down. But you don't have double jointed elbows either. They're pretty much a 90 degree, maybe slightly more than a 90 degree. I'd say that's probably like 95, maybe 100. And of course, this is all stiff plastic as well. Not really a whole lot else going there, but you do get a swivel at the elbow. His hand, of course, you can swivel the hand up and down all around. And here is his head. Head also goes up and down. You do get a ball joint down here, and then you do get another joint at the head up here as well. So you get quite a bit of range of motion with the head to be able to look straight up, straight down, to the side. So I do like that about NECA figures. They do give you double joints. Now, this is stiff plastic. This is actually hard plastic, not even soft. It is just absolutely stiff. There is no ab crunch at all. It is a stiff piece of plastic. You do get a pretty big range of motion with the hip there at the bottom, so he can look straight up like that. But he's also on a swivel joint right at the waist. But like I said, like all this down below, it's like rubber goods. Like this is all rubbery. But the feet, like you can't do anything with the legs and the feet. You can actually twist this little leg that they have inside this block of plastic. You know, you can kind of make the feet kind of outward, but you really can't do a whole lot. It's literally just meant to stand there and look pretty, and that's it. You can't get them to sit down. You can't get them to do nothing. Which, you know, I guess in NECA's defense and in this movie, like there's no reason for you to have to make them sit down, but I think this figure would have done more justice if it was actually cloth, maybe. I could be completely wrong on that. I'm really indifferent with how NECA could have done this figure. It still looks good, you know? Like, I'd still be able to display this no problem with whatever pose I want to do. But enough of the figure. Let's go over the different heads here that we got. So if my camera focuses enough, this is his first head. He's kind of like I was talking about Emotep here. I think this is supposed to be like an Emotep type of character. Forgive me, I've never watched these movies, but you know, Emotep in the Brendan Fraser's movie, you know, he basically sucks the life out of his victims, which gains his more of his, I guess if you want to call it immortality, his youth, and he becomes more of an actual human being rather than this fleshy looking old crispy zombie. But that's what I'm thinking what these heads are, right? Like he's got transitions where he's gotten more of his power back. He's now no longer a decrepit zombie, and now he's more of a actual in the flesh human being. So I think this is going to be his, maybe like his, I don't know, second form. This is more of his final form right here. You know, it's like fucking Frieza. You haven't even seen my final form type shit, you know, and he just gets more and more powerful. So I think this might be his second form face. And then this is when he just is just super crispy, hasn't even gotten any of his life force back from other people. And this is just a really well done head. Like the detail on this is just super good. The paint, the detail. That's kind of why I picked up this mummy figure, even though I haven't watched this film. It's just the insane detail on these sculpts is just super good. Like, I don't know if I want to display him like this or like this. It's so hard. I like this creepy version of him, but I never watched the film to really, I guess, give a accurate way of how I want to pose him. That's why I need to watch this movie. But super awesome detailed head, honestly. Now, if we go over his accessories too, you do get the staff. So if you do want to have him hold the staff, you can have him hold the staff. Not a whole lot of detail. It's got some gold bits on the ends here and at the top. And then it's just kind of like a wood brown color. And then you get the sacrificial dagger here, which is kind of cool too. I guess if you want to have him look like a fleshy zombie and have him look like he's holding a dagger, you could do that. And then you get the oil lamp that he also moves and carries around. Has a nice little gold detail. I didn't even notice it came with a scroll though until I opened them up, and I was like, oh shit, there's a scroll in there. And the other releases, I think the other accessory, the accessory pack that comes with this mummy set also gives you a scroll and a chest, as well as the coffin, a sarcophagus. But you do get, almost with every release, you do get some kind of weird accessory like map or something like that. So pretty cool. Nothing on the back. It's just a plain piece of paper, flimsy paper. It almost looks like like a children's drawing, like coloring book or something. It has that same kind of feel to it, where you can just draw on it for like crayons and shit that you get at a restaurant. But anyways, that's pretty much all of his accessories there, and that's gonna do it for the figure, I guess. I'm honestly running out of room for these NECA figures, guys. Like, I don't even know where the fuck to put them. This is probably like my 40th like figure that I have. I haven't even counted. I mean, I have, but I don't even remember what the count was. I'm probably going to display him with the other mummy accessory set that I have, along with the other version of him as well. He actually sits, the other version of him sits on my nightstand, so I'm going to probably stow him away over there somewhere. I really do need to get a display of just nothing for NECA figures, you know, like for all my collectible shit that I have. But there's probably a possibility I may even start selling off a couple of them too, just because I'm running out of room. These guys are just taking up a lot of space. They're literally all over my house in here. But anyways, guys, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. If you thought this video was informative, like, share, and subscribe. I'd love to be out there in the algorithm. You guys have a great Sunday. I have more lined up, and I'll see you in the next NECA video. Peace out.